Hello, everyone. This video is meant for students who are in their first semester, meaning they're coming in as a freshman or an external transfer. And today we're going to be talking about the field internship with our Dean of Field here, Tanya Voss, as well as our Assistant Dean for the undergraduate program, Kasi Huff. So I will go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Alexis Kyle. I'm the undergraduate programs administrator. I oversee a lot of the things that happen in our BSW program. So you'll be seeing me a lot throughout your 4 years. And then I'll pass it to Kasi.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Talking About Field. My name is Kasi Huff, and I am the Assistant Dean for Undergraduate Programs. You also will find me in the classroom sometimes, so you'll see me on and off throughout your time here. And I'm going to pass it over to Assistant Dean Voss.
Hi, I'm Assistant Dean Voss. I'm Assistant Dean for Field Education. My name is Tanya Voss, and I'm excited to welcome you to the Steve Hicks School of Social Work Field Bonanza.
Great, thanks, Tanya. So during orientation, a lot of our students hear that they have to complete an internship and are taken aback by that. So can you tell us what the internship is going to look like exactly?
No, because the internships vary quite a bit. That'd be like trying to say what every BSW student looks like. There's no one size fits all, and that's great. Field is one of the things that people look forward to the most because it's taking all the application of all that classroom learning and putting it out there in the field, working with people, working with agencies, working with individuals and groups, working on projects that make meaningful impact on people's lives. So field varies quite a bit. It's 480 hours, which is quite a bit, right? Over one semester, that's about 36 hours a week. Nope, about 32 hours a week. 32. I mean, it varies, right? A little bit depending on, it's kind of like work. Work weeks are a little bit more, some work weeks are a little bit less. So in that range, you can spread it out over 2 semesters. And then that's closer to 16 hours a week. And a lot of students choose to do that because that allows them to work outside of their field placement, and in addition to carrying on their responsibilities. But in field, what I can say is you're actually going to be doing things. You're not going to be just observing. You're not just going to be reading policy manuals, although there is some of that. We want to get you trained up because we do prepare you for what you're doing. But you're actually going to be carrying a caseload, doing intake and assessment, intervening with clients, evaluating your work, being involved in groups. I don't know if they're going to be task groups because I don't know where you're going to be. I don't know if they're going to be psychoeducational groups, maybe an anger management group at an elementary school. I don't know. Or you might be involved in, you will be involved in some sort of macro practice, and that's bigger picture stuff, right? Event planning, or maybe you'd be a part of a grant writing team. Maybe you would do update some policies and procedures or resource manuals for the agency where you're placed. And the last thing I'll say about the internship at this point is that the agencies vary widely. A lot of our students go into school settings because schools are amazing places to learn. Everything happens in schools, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools. But we also have students on campus working with programs that work with students who have developmental disabilities. We have, at the graduate level, we have students in Texas legislature. We have students in healthcare settings. We have students in juvenile justice settings and criminal justice settings. So it really runs the gamut. We have students in a lot of different places.
Can you tell us, I sometimes students will ask us why the field internship is so important. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So field is considered the signature pedagogy for social work education. Now, what that means is our accrediting body, the Council on Social Work Education, the oversight organization that says if you graduate with a social work degree in Texas or in Nebraska or in Oregon, there are some things that you have to know in order to be able to call yourself a social worker. What they say is in our educational educational policies and academic standards is that you don't get to be a social worker without doing field. Like, it's kind of like, I'm not saying it's the same because it's different, right? But if you think about it, you wouldn't want a doctor to get to be your doctor unless they had practiced, right? Unless they'd had their residency. And so in social work, this is an opportunity for you to take all that stuff that you've been learning in class and reading in class, some of the volunteer work that you've been doing, and take it up a level so that you can professionalize things. And so field is a really important place where you get to apply things, because a lot of people can read a book, but not everybody can do what the book says. And so it's a really important, so it's like a lot of what you do in the classes is dress rehearsal. When you go into field, that's your performance. That's your chance to shine and to demonstrate the competencies that you need in order to be a licensed social worker and graduate from our program and all programs in North America.
Awesome. Another question we have for you is, when should students be completing their field internship?
Students, I have two answers to that. One is you kind of start completing your field placement in the semester prior, because we do have a placement process in the semester prior to your field placement. That's really important. This is all aiming for having your internship be the final experience. This is like the grand finale at your senior year. And so whether that's going to be one semester or 2 semesters, if you choose, because you get to choose, if you want to do 32 to 36 hours a week, or if you want to do 16 to 20 hours a week for your final field experience, that's going to be in your senior year. That's the grand finale. The semester prior is whenever you are going through the process of looking at the different options and maybe talking to some of the representatives from the different agencies, meeting with an individualized advisor so that you can figure out, I can't tell the difference between this school and that school, or I don't know if I want to use my Spanish or not. I don't know if it's good enough for me to be working with vulnerable populations using my Spanish, all those kinds of things. So the short answer is your senior year. Grand finale for all that you've learned, so you have all the coursework that you need to be successful.
That's good to know. So there's a lot of learning that happens before then.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it also sounds like students don't have to find their own internships.
Oh, no. In fact, we ask that you not reach out to different agencies about this. We place about 360 students in field every year at the undergraduate and graduate level. So we have a lot of practice with it, a lot of community partners. All the agencies have to do extra things. They all have to demonstrate that they're going to support your education, designate someone who is eligible and qualified to be your individualized supervisor for that setting, so you have all the support you need. So they have to jump through a lot of hoops. We have to vet them very carefully. We train them not just once at the beginning, but every single solitary year. And so we work on those relationships. So you don't have to worry about developing the placements. We do offer a lot of different options for you. When you come to us, if there are placements that you are interested in, let us know. I mean, you could email me today and say, hey, what about this one? I can't guarantee you that it's going to be there when you get to be a senior, because that's a little ways off. You've got some time in between now and then, but we'll ask periodically and remind you. And at any point in time, you can email me. I'm very easily found, TM Voss, or you could email the field office, SSW-field, and say, hey, I'm interested in this agency. Is this one that you have a relationship with? And we have a whole committee that is dedicated to developing placements so that you have a lot of options.
Great. And another question that a lot of our students are interested to know is, are these internships going to be paid, or are they going to need to find their own funding for the time that they're in the internship?
The short answer is practically they are not paid. Pause, wait. The longer answer is we're working on that. We have a lot of community partners that do provide stipends. We always advocate for that. I mentioned our committee that goes out and develops placements. One of the things that we consistently push on is encouraging our agencies to offer stipends, which is just money for your internship. You can't count on it to pay your rent. I do want to say that. But increasingly, we have agencies that will pay in the realm of like $1,700, for example. Communities and Schools has an AmeriCorps grant that allows you to get paid up to, it's right now, it actually changes most years. It goes up most years, but right now it's close to $1,700. And so that's a good example. So about 50% of our BSW students end up with some funding, but some funding is not enough to pay rent in the Austin area. And so don't count on it. You will have that information before you put in your bid for which internships you want. So you will have the information about whether an internship has any stipend funding. You will have the information about how much that is prior to you saying, hey, these are the ones I'm interested in. So that's a factor that you will know about before you lean into making that decision.
And one other thing I would add to that is that from the BSW program side, we do try to award scholarships, any scholarship money we have, which is also not enough, to students in field. And you can apply for that scholarship, those scholarships once a year in May for the following year. And the vast majority of those scholarships do go to students who will be completing field in the next year. So that's something else to consider. So our last question for this period of time is, when these students are just beginning, when are they going to learn more about field?
Well, that's kind of a question for Alexis. It's in their practice sequence. And that's about what I know. So Alexis.
Alexis, take it away.
Right. Yeah, so everyone who's watching this is presumably new to the major. So right now everyone is what we call the foundation sequence, where you're taking 5 foundational classes, the first one being social work 310. And then once you're done with those 5 foundation sequence classes with at least a C or better, then you'll be applying to go into what's called the practice sequence, where you're going to be taking classes about social welfare and policy. You'll be learning about human behavior. You'll be learning about practicing with groups, families, individuals, all that type of stuff. So you'll be learning more about the internship once you're in the practice sequence, because after the practice sequence is when the internship comes. So stay tuned for the next couple semesters, and we'll be giving you more information about the internship the closer you get.
Yeah, and I would add that if some people are fine, that's great, I'll just wait. Some people really like to get ahead of the game. We do have a course, our Guides to Field, available on the school's website. It's not exactly riveting reading, but there's more information than you would ever want to know about BSW Field in the Guide to Field, which is on our school's website. And so I encourage you to look at that, because we update that regularly and it has lots of good information.
Thanks so much, Dean Voss, for giving us all this information today for these beginning students. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Field really is, I'm completely biased, but it really is the best part, because you get out there and do all the stuff, and you have plenty of support. So I'm excited for you. Thank you for your interest in Field at this stage of the game, and we'll get there and we will communicate more, and you will have the opportunity to ask more questions. So thanks.
All right. Thank you, everyone.